The following episode is brought to you by Poison City Brewing, proud makers of Durban Poison Cannabis Lager, the beer that invites you to live your poison.
I just want to thank you guys for all coming through and sort of agreeing to do this. In true Sludge fashion and just generally how I do things on my side, like I literally have nothing prepared. Like I want to be open with you guys, and this is, I feel like, or I'm really hoping that it does add to the vibe and that we can have a genuine conversation, as I'm sure we probably had when each of you came onto the show. So yeah, I think we should basically, kick it off. I think we could start off by just everyone sort of introducing themselves and what they do, so that our guests can also sort of be in the know as well in terms of who's on tonight. And yeah, we can just basically continue from there.
Yeah, I'm Robyn. I'm a solo guitarist and musician. Do a bit of art and some vocals here and there as well. I'm really stoked to be chatting with all of you guys.
I'm Jazmine Dèson. I'm an artist. I sing, I rap, and I'm just into doing anything creative, so hoping to get lots of stuff off the ground the more I progress in the industry.
I'm Ella. I am in Virginia, and I own a creative arts agency and a nationwide publication.
I'm Bad Milk. I'm a songwriter, rapper, singer, director, creative model, you name it.
My name is Zaman. I'm a culture curator, and basically a culture curator is someone that keeps on the pulse of, the culture, just basically looking at creators and what is it that they're doing. I've been just looking at creators, how is it that they've been pushing, what is it that we can do to learn from them, and how is it that we can do something different. So that's basically me in a nutshell.
My name is Meagan King. I am a multimedia artist, a musician, and a digital creator.
Hey, that is proper. I think even with anyone that's listening through, the common denominator here is the fact that you guys are all in, the creative field. You guys are, in the industry, and you guys are from, different walks of life, different places. We've got some South Africans in here. We've got some Americans in here. And I guess the first thing I really just want to find out from you guys, this is more of a conversation type thing. So feel free to sort of comment where you feel like commenting. Basically, why this field? What made you guys be like, this is what, we sort of want to do and want to sort of get into. So, what is it about the creative field that sort of drew you guys towards it and made you guys be like, what, this is what we're meant to do type thing? Anyone can answer this. It's a free for all.
I think growing up, like being creative was just the only way that I really knew how to express myself. And so like drawing or just doing anything, like singing, anything to do with like music or anything that just, really got my mind moving in that direction and really got my mind just like digging deeper, I guess, was something that really inspired me to pursue that, especially because it just made me really happy as a child. And I think just growing through with that and seeing how passionate it just like kept me going throughout the years really inspired me to pursue this.
Yeah, I think it's just like a really rad outlet, and growing up, it's sometimes difficult to express yourself or find your own voice, and just through creativity and through music, through art, so you find yourself, you find your voice. And I think it's just like it becomes so part of you that there is no other option. So like thinking of anything other, like going into any other industry, just doesn't really like make much sense to me, because this is part of who I am, and just it is what we are, I suppose.
Yeah,
I agree.
I totally hear you. For me, it's just always been a lifestyle.
Yeah.
Somehow, like music has always crept up on me all my life. Like, let's just say that I went through a whole lot of phases of different artists before I decided to be one myself. Let's just say that I was basically absorbing all the inspiration that I could till I could figure myself out. Because before rapping and singing, I wanted to be a DJ, and then I was just like, no, but I do poetry, so I have to put words, into like beats and so forth. So I didn't choose it. It chose me, basically.
I understand that completely. I agree with you on that one. It did not, like, I didn't choose it, it chose me.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. It's like just part of you.
For me, the reason why I also like the creative industry is also you get to create your own story. A lot of the time we've been seeing a lot of like creatives do amazing things, and it's also you also touch on that aspect of what is it that I can do that can be sort of like different from other people, but also people will get inspired by what I'm doing. So basically, to touching on all of the points that you guys have just mentioned, it's that, and it's sort of like intertwining in the sense that you're creating your own story that other people can relate to at the end of the day. So that was for me my main purpose as to what story can I create that others will be inspired by, but in the same sense that I'll be able to create my own lane for as well.
I love that perspective. And I also love that it's not only about creating stories, but also about like sharing your experiences and your stories. I feel like that's something that really helps me a lot with my creativity and just with, helping to get that out there is like, I love sharing my stories and my inspirations and things that get me to where I am. And I love putting that into my music. So I love what you said.
I agree.
Yeah.
The reason I started creating was out of pain. And I've always been the kind of like upbeat, positive kid. When things would happen, I always try to find like the light at the end of the tunnel, no matter how terrible it was. So creating for me, it was it was me turning my pain into something positive to inspire other people. And that's what kept me going. And I went through a lot of different avenues before I got to where I'm at right now. I wanted to be a singer. I wanted to be a songwriter. I wanted to be a dancer. I even went to dance camp. I wanted to be a ballerina. Like I had a whole bunch of different ideas, and it took me a long time to just like put it into one thing and focus on that. So I agree with the telling your experiences and everything like that, because that's what I do with everything I create. I make sure it relates to somebody or at least makes somebody smile.
Can I please tell you guys something crazy?
Sure.
So, like she's talking about how she was able to express herself because of like what she experienced. It's so crazy. I used to run away from doing that. I talk about everything but my feelings.
Mm. When you say that it's something that you used to do, sort of you used to run away from that and sort of expressing your feelings and whatnot, what was sort of the reasoning sort of behind that there?
I guess I never wanted to face my truths like that, because like when I write a song, it's like where my mind's really at in that very moment. You know what I'm saying? Now to write a song about it and to like share and so forth, I really couldn't bring myself to do it. But now like I'm starting to, get with the program.
Do you think that that is something that has elevated your music in a way? Because I feel like I've gone through the same thing, and like what Ella was talking about and like my experiences and like putting my pain into like my music, I've gone through so much of that I at some point didn't want to write about that anymore, just because it was bringing me to a place of hurt. But at the same time, I feel like once I got over that, it like elevated my music. So I guess I just want to hear your perspective on what facing your truth has been like.
Oh yes, it definitely has. I'm on another level now. But I don't know, it's weird. It's like equally awesome and it sucks at the same time. But like, yeah, it's so organic. Like it's heartfelt, and like many people can relate to it now, you see. So I guess that's why I just kind of don't mind. Otherwise, I'm still a bit hesitant, because I'm afraid of like the response and the reactions. Because like it's real life stuff, like my life, which literally what I just went through, and obviously there were people around me when that happened to me that know what really happened. So now if like the song comes out and just, yeah, but I don't care. It's whatever. Music is for the heart, right?
Right.
I think music's definitely from the heart and for the heart. Personally, I've had quite an interesting walk health-wise, and that's led me to approach music in quite a different way. Traditionally, a lot of people know me as like an extreme metal vocalist, like screamy music and shreddy guitar stuff, and breaking off onto like solo missions and just doing my own thing. I decided to take an instrumental approach for a change and not actually lay things out in terms of like lyrics and let music and melody speak for a change, because I found like the experiences that I went through, I was very, very ill and like had a lot of hectic things happen. But I felt like giving words to those experiences kind of took away from what it was in a way. And it was maybe a bit too painful to put words to it. So I've taken a different approach and have created instrumental music as an outlet and a way for me to process my feelings and the things that I've gone through, and hopefully also share that with people in a different way. Like sometimes I feel music and artists, and we're always just like putting lyrics and putting words out there, which is awesome for us as artists, and I think it's a way for us to express and a lot of people to relate directly. But sometimes we almost like say too much. So for this walk of my life in particular at the moment, I felt like a bit of an instrumental approach is awesome, because I'm trying to let the music talk and let people find their own voice through my own music. So it's an interesting journey at the moment to see how I'm dealing with my own like insecurities and such, and how that's coming out and how it's being dealt with and how others are relating, and just the story and the voice. So I think sometimes we get bogged down with like the meaning of it all and like, am I saying the right things or doing the right things? But like, as long as it's coming from your heart and you being true to yourself, I think we're like, we're all on the right track then. Yeah. Sorry, that was a rant, but
It was a beautiful read.
Yeah, we encourage. I'd encourage like a rant, and especially one that is as enlightening as the one that you just said there. So 100%. I wanted to find out from Zama as well. How do you go about sort of processing any pain that you might have experienced in the past, and sort of manifesting it into what you do as a cultural curator?
For me, I feel like pain is sometimes actually can be a great motivator for you to actually, what's the word? Not accelerate, but to propel yourself going forward. That also goes into whatever type of artistry that you go into. You being a DJ, you being a musician, you sometimes do need that motivation to try and let you go a bit forward. With me, it's a bit different because it's like I do writing a lot and I do interviewing a lot. And I find that if there's a certain type of way I'm feeling or certain type of emotion that I'm feeling, I try to use that energy and look for people that have been through the same type of space and see as to what is it that they did to, sort of like get themselves out of that space, or try to move very slowly away from that space. Because at the end of the day, you can't force yourself to be like, okay, I'm going to get over it right now because I need to get out of this box, and everything. Sometimes you've just got to let it take its pace and just keep it moving. So for me, I try to look for inspiration, basically, and try to find new ways on how is it that I can come with a new approach onto things. That's the best way that I deal with pain, to be quite honest, as a culture curator. So yeah, that's pretty much my answer.
I was an open book first, and then I became quiet with my feelings after kind of like going to school and getting bullied and things. Like I was always talking about my feelings, and then after going to just after years of being shut down because I talk about my feelings too much, or being called weak because I cry when I'm sad, or I just stopped talking about it. And it took me until I was in the 11th grade and I was forced to be on homebound, which is homeschooling, and go to therapy. That was when I started talking about my feelings again. So I hear a lot of people saying like they started off not wanting to talk about their feelings, and they had to kind of eventually get there. But I started off backwards. Like, I was very open about it. I would tell people everything. I wasn't ashamed of anything. I would talk about my feelings 24/7. You can ask me anything, and I would tell you. And then I got really quiet. And people started noticing, well, why aren't you talking? Why don't you say anything? Why are you quiet all of a sudden?
Are you still quiet?
No, you can add, no. When I did my interview with them, I talked for 2 hours.
Okay.
I got back to myself after I went through therapy a little bit. And again, creating and getting out of certain relationships that were toxic and getting rid of certain people that were toxic. I got back to my open book self. So when people ask me certain things or come to me for advice, I have no problem telling them about what I've been through, because that's just society. They feel like if you cry or if you deal with something, it's such a weak thing to do, and it's so backwards. So I try to kind of inspire people by doing it myself, by talking about my own personal feelings and my own issues that if people ask, or because I can tell people all day, yeah, you should definitely talk about your feelings, but if I don't, then, it's not really doing anything. So I try to at least show people that it's okay to talk. It's fine. Everybody goes through things. You're not the only person, so don't feel like you're alone and by yourself. So, yeah. That's why I created the female community I built, just for that reason, because I had a lot of friends who were not, like, they were creatives, but they were not good at opening up at all.
Would you guys, say that, now I'm noticing a pattern as well, in terms of the topic here being pain and that being a motivator, as Zama, said. And I'm just looking at where you guys are with the things that you're doing and how well they're going. Would you guys say that pain is the best sort of source of inspiration? What are your views on that?
That's cliche.
I would say experiences are the best, not pain, because you could have really good experiences and that can inspire something amazing. It doesn't just have to be pain all the time.
I totally agree, because pain is on the same level as anything else that you'd feel. Yeah. So why should pain be glorified? Pain is not the only feeling that can push you to do great things. You can be happy and do something great,
Yeah.
I feel like our generation is so focused on drawing pain so much that anything that happens, we want to run to pain,
I feel like the thing that motivates me most is yes, the pain, but it's also moving past the pain. I feel like that's something that I've started these past few months and these past few weeks, realizing that yes, the pain is there and that is something that I want to share. But I also feel when I start to go through and work through that pain, I'm overcoming it almost in a way, and closing up childhood wounds or working through things that I didn't know needed to be worked through, because I'm sharing experiences that I haven't thought about in so long. And I feel like the pain does motivate me as much as it can, but it's the getting past that. It's the moving towards what I want, towards happiness and towards the success and towards my goals. That's pushing me through the pain, I guess.
I think it's about the journey at the end of the day. So, the process. Everybody's got a different way of going through things. You're dealing with things, be it pain, be it happiness, be it whatever. I think at the end of the day, we're all telling a story about the journey that we're on and hoping to either get through this next section of our adventure, or hoping to relate to others and help others get through their journeys. But it's all about where we're going.
Round two.
How are you guys feeling so far?
Really good. How about you guys?
I'm fine.
You look so pretty today.
Who?
You.
Oh, thank you. So
you look so good in that. It's kind of like an orange blush.
Oh, yes.
I don't know. It's like a pinky
Girl, I
orange.
use my eyeshadow.
It's just honey everywhere. It's gorgeous. Like, well done.
Oh, thank you so much. You guys are all beautiful. I hope you know it and see it every day.
I just saw you today though, and you like, oh my gosh, your shuffle kicked in such a good moment, and you
Right.
it was so good. Oh my gosh, I live for that shit. I'm sorry.
That shit was so fun. I was like, man, that's perfect. So I was like, let me go with it.
That's so good. You didn't even stutter. I love it.
Hey Jazz, are you in Atlanta?
Yeah, so I'm in Atlanta. I was supposed to be for 4 days, but I kept getting like, I would go out and I'd be like, hey, you want to do a session with someone? And then like 2 days later, someone else would be like, hey, I can do a session, but I can't do it for 2 days. And I'd be like, I gotta go. And they'd be like, just stay. So it's been 2 weeks.
That's so cool.
How was it though? You seem like you're really having a good time though. I mean, your stories are bomb, dude. Like, I've been following them from when you were in the plane, and I was like, dude, your captions are the best, like, ever.
Thank you. Honestly, I just be having fun. So like, I'm just like, let me spread joy. Like, I want other people to feel the joy from like my experiences wherever they're at. Cause like, I'd be stuck at home like, man, I wish that was me. But like, at the same time, I want other people to like almost feel like they're there.
Yeah, I know. It makes a lot of sense. Ella, how's things in Virginia right now?
Things are fine so far. It was raining today, and our governor got coronavirus, so
Oh no.
there's that.
What?
But yeah, everything's fine so far.
Damn, dude.
Yeah, just
The crazy part is that the craze and the fear of corona, I don't know if it's the same situation that side, but it's sort of like subsided or sort of like died down a bit in South Africa. So I don't know if it's the same thing on that side. Like, people are still getting infected, but it's sort of like not as big of a deal as it was, a couple of months ago.
it's a big deal to me because I've always been sick. Like, I have asthma and I'm anemic, and like, so I can't get it. Because when I was born, I had pneumonia the first 7 days I was born, and I stopped breathing after a while because I also had asthma at the same time, and then I got a cold. Like, I was just back to back sick, so I can't get it. So I just stay in the house, and then my daughter, I don't want her to get it, and then my mom stays with me, and I don't want I cannot get it. I'm always sick. I have seasonal allergies. I have allergies when I wake up. Like, I cannot be sick anymore. So I take it seriously, but my state has opened everything back up. So you can go to the movies, you can go to the restaurants, you can even go to school. Schools are open, daycares are open. Like,
damn,
they feel like it's fine, but I'm not going to even try. Because there are people still getting it.
Yeah.
So it's just like...
And it's bad in Florida.
I'm not going to take a chance. And then you talking about sending kids to daycare. Like, kids are so nasty at daycare. Like, why would you put your kid in that situation? Like, some people have to, though. So I understand. Some people would have no choice but to send their kids to school and daycare. So I get it. But if you have a choice, I'd rather just keep my kids at home.
Right.
And the crazy part is that apparently kids, like, they carry it, like, it doesn't really affect them. So now imagine sending your kids to school and then they come back and then it's like, hey, here, take.
That actually happened to somebody I know. They were fine, and then she said she sent her daughter to school and she came back home with it.
Shit.
It's fine over. It's okay. I don't know about like the other places. Like, I think New York was the worst one in America, aside from California. So I don't know.
And Florida.
Yeah.
Florida has the most cases right now, and they just opened everything up.
Damn.
They
Why?
kept
Is it like...
But they kept opening stuff up. Like, even spring break, people were going down there, still going to the beach and everything. Like, they even had a mass like gathering down there, I think, with like 300 people at one point.
Yeah, I think they had like a little festival or something. Like, just...
Yeah, and the police were like trying to break it up and people wouldn't leave, so they just had to wait till it was over. Because how the heck are you gonna remove 300 people?
Right.
Like, what? Like, it would take a lot. And then, like, California has those fires going on. I think it's California.
Right. California always has fires going on.
Yeah, but it's such a bad time.
It really is.
Like, coronavirus and fires? Like, geez.
But coronavirus dies at high temperatures. So at the same time, it's like, hey, if you want to burn the virus, that'd be great.
Yeah.
I do feel bad though, because so many people are losing like their homes and their properties, and I have no idea how these fires are starting.
I just want to ask them, do you guys just rebuild every year to lose them again? Like, it's you already know it's gonna happen, so do you just rebuild on that same property for it to be burned down again?
Like wherever the fires start, because it's so weird. It's not like we have any specific place where like fires like occur. It's just wherever there's like dry land, you just have to be hella careful. So like every year we do get hella fires, and it's not like we rebuild, I guess, on the same land, but like, yeah, to be honest, we rebuild on the same land, because like it's it's just like so much easier than like trying to like figure, because it's such a small town where I'm from, and like, yeah, it is a big state, but at the same time, like, it's all like grassland, so it's all like flat, hilly, like it's just gonna catch on fire anyway. So even if we did try to go somewhere else and build, like, we'd still be at risk.
There is somebody that set the fires this year, I think. Some guy, he got arrested.
The gender reveal party, wasn't it? Like, that was also one of the contributors.
That's true.
Yeah, they set the fire by accident and got arrested.
Wow.
I'm just like, wow, how do you burn down a whole forest by yourself?
Right.
Like, how many years do you get for burning down a whole forest? Like, that's crazy.
For finding out the gender of your child, like, that's crazier. What?
That would be such a crazy story to learn. Like, as the kid, like, so what happened when I was born? Well, we burned down the whole forest.
Right.
What? Dang, that means if people find out that kid, they're gonna be that's gonna be their story for the rest of their life. Like, people are gonna be asking them about that forever. Like, oh, you're the kid that was the gender reveal kid that burned down the forest.
Gender reveal kid. He was like, here, we basically, Zama, please correct me if I'm wrong, but we, not all of us, there's like certain people that actually burn like grass, like intentionally. I don't know if it's during winter or some shit, but they burn it intentionally so that I think it grows better when summer comes or spring comes. I'm not 100% sure, but they literally start fires just for the sake of the grass growing better.
But that's controlled burning.
Right. That's the whole thing.
I've heard of that.
Yeah. Our country is very focused on conserving the nature. Well, the spiritual side of it, like, we very much all about like burning the grass so that it can grow better again and everything like that. It happens every season though. So yeah, you on point anyway, Naz.
Fortunately, these seem more like controlled fires. So what's happening in California seems like arson in a way. Like if it was deliberately started and it sort of just went batshit crazy.
Yeah, it was by the gender reveal. They said they burned 20,000 acres as of September 18th.
How did this happen?
Is this the first fire or the second one? Because I thought the first fire was lightning.
This is September 7th, and by September 8th, they had burned 20,000 acres. It was a smoke generating device that was supposed to like tell you it was supposed to come out with like which color the baby gender is, and it set the fire.
Dang.
Why does that require smoke? So many questions here.
Right.
Why at a gender reveal party? Why the smoke? Like, why? It does not make sense.
The parties have gotten exponentially wilder since their trend. So it's about like getting viral and,
That's true.
Yeah.
Well, they didn't get charged though.
The one thing I've noticed, especially during like lockdown in South Africa, was that once we were like so contained, as soon as our president had mentioned that, no, you guys are like sort of like a bit more free now to do things, like people went wild. I don't know what it was, but people went wild. I was just watching a video now where these people were busy partying and there was a tractor busy carrying everyone. So I was just like, guys, why are we so crazy? Like, what the hell?
My state was not like that. Like when my governor announced that, he was putting it like he wasn't like making it mandatory. He was just like, it would be nice if you guys could stay inside. And people in the comments were like, no, tell us to like lock us down. What are you asking us? Make us do it. We don't want to go outside. Like people were getting so mad because he was being so nice about it. He was just like, it would be nice if you guys could stay inside. You know, it would be cool if you could wear your mask. Like he wasn't making it a law or anything. And people in the comments were getting so pissed. They're like, no, tell us to wear the mask. Make us stay inside. What are you doing? Like, it was hilarious because it was like people wanted to be locked inside. They didn't want to go out. And he was just being very lenient. He was like, you can go out, but you have to stay. You have to go back in by 9. And like he was still trying to be nice. And I don't know. Some states people were going crazy. And then some states people were just like, no, I'm okay. I'm going to stay inside. What were you like? What was your feelings towards like when your state required you to stay inside? Like, were you okay with it, or were you kind of like, I want to go out, I can't do this?
For me, I was actually going to ask you guys, but I'll ask you guys later after this. But for me, I was fine with it, to be honest. I actually preferred being indoors because also thinking expense-wise in terms of like going out for meetings, for instance, whereas something could be in an email, just as an example. In that sense, it was better for me to be staying at home. The only thing that would just be a bit of an issue only because in South Africa, our data costs are just ridiculous. But other than that, no, for me, I was really fine with it because I felt it was a bit more controlled. Things were fine. But now people are just going so haywire. And it's like you can't contain it anymore because for some people, it was a bit of like a sickness to stay inside the whole time. And now, because now we've been sort of like been given permission to go out, people are just using that opportunity, which there's nothing wrong with that. But in the way that they're using it, they're not sensible about it for some people, you know? So for me personally, I was actually fine with staying indoors. It was actually a better way for me to conduct my business and just to conduct myself. Also, my creativity was a bit more better as well in terms of staying indoors as well. So yeah, that was just me.
Yeah, just to answer on your question, Ella, as well on my side, I'd say lockdown was probably one of the best things to happen, I think, to my activity and even Sludge's, because if it weren't for lockdown, I honestly believe this conversation right here wouldn't even be a thing, because prior to that, we were sort of just doing sort of local, you know, artists and whatnot, and it's sort of just, it pushes you, you know, when you're not used to something or something is sort of being introduced to you and you're not used to it, it's sort of like you have to try and adapt. And you know, that's when you sort of realize that, hang on, you know, I've been too comfortable with where I was. So it is sort of helps you push the boundaries and try out new things and all that. And also to echo on what Zama's saying as well, it saved a lot on petrol, dude. Like petrol, like I had like a full tank the entire month because there was no travel. It saved cash, you know. And then, but people complained because they were like, well, the money that you use for petrol is money that you use for chow, you know, and food. And it's sort of like, well, it's sort of like you're not saving, you know. But I think it's been more of a blessing than anything else. I don't know if Jazz and Meagan, if you guys sort of share the same views. Like, how was it for you guys?
I think it's also been a big blessing. Like, I just feel like it's been really good for my creativity as well. And just being able to kind of like sit with myself. I feel like something that like we do a lot in being allowed to go out is like we interact and we distract ourselves. And I feel like being forced to kind of sit with myself, which is something that I already really like to do, but like to do it more so just almost like accelerated me as a person and like my growth and my success and what I'm like going towards, because I've just spent so much time with myself and on myself and like working on all these things that I want to do. It just kind of like is making it easier for me to push towards the things that I want, because I'm so like I'm having to drive myself.
Yeah. Meagan, same thoughts.
I've been quite the recluse for a long time, so it was actually nice to experience being a little bit relatable, because suddenly everyone was kind of living in my natural state. But I really, like, my heart goes out to any of the extroverts that really struggled not being able to go out. And I feel like our president made us feel like we were grounded. Like, it took us back to childhood. He was like, you have a bedtime, no smoking, no drinking. You can't go out and party, sorry. And you're going to have to study online. Enjoy.
I didn't do any of that stuff anyway, so I just was like, oh, okay.
Exactly.
Just a regular routine. Like, I've never done alcohol, I've never smoked. Like, I'm an awkward person at parties, so I would just, when they announced it, like, oh, you have to stay in the house, I'm like, I already stay in the house. Like, you're telling me stuff I do every day.
Right.
Your curfew is at 9. I'm already in the house by 9 o'clock. Like, you're just telling me what I do every day. It's okay. Like, you can't go to the bar. I don't go. So
Right.
Are there any extroverts in here? Or is there anyone who just likes to party? Because I'm also in the same like group as Ella and Meagan as well. Like, I don't do any of that shit anyway. So it was like, well, cool.
I'm a mixed personality. So like I love being inside, but as much as I love being inside, I love being out. So I mean, either way, it really wasn't a challenge for me because being inside, I can always make my own, joy, my own thrills. Like if I wanted to go talk to someone, I could just FaceTime someone that I wanted to talk to, and that's enough like extroversion for me to like be satisfied in like what I'm doing. And so like as a semi extrovert, someone who likes to go out and likes to party and do those things, like, and I'm not even someone who like really loves to party just because I'm not big on like, alcohol and all that. Like that's just, it's okay, but it's not the best thing in the world to me, like it's just a good time. But in like that aspect of like wanting to go out and wanting to party and like have all that stuff, I almost like am more grateful that it's not a thing. Like it's good to network and it's good in that like way to like be out, I guess, because like that's just who I am. I network, I connect with people, I go out and I love to like talk and get to know people. But like being inside has also like almost made it's like challenging me to be an extrovert inside, if that makes sense. Like I'm learning to be an extrovert on the internet. I'm learning to be an extrovert like from closed doors.
Yeah. I so agree with Jay on that one. For me, I'm an ambivert, so it's a little bit of an introvert and extroverts combined together, basically. And for me, because I was a person that loved going out to events, networking, trying to like obviously make a name for myself, but I just got to a stage where obviously the lockdown had happened, and I just got to a stage, and I sort of like understood that, you can network actually without always going to events. You can just go into the net, speak to people, do what you need to do in order to obviously make a name for yourself. And it really did ground me, but I also enjoyed the fact that I was indoors. I was able to get the rest that I was needed, because that's another theme that a lot of people tend to underestimate, is the power of rest. Because as a creative, we create so much, but sometimes we're so hard on ourselves that we don't take a moment to just breathe and just look at what is going on and look at the world that is around us, and just inhale and exhale. So for me, as a person that's an extrovert that loves going out and everything like this, it was good. I needed it. And like you had said earlier on, as Woods, that basically, if we didn't have this lockdown, a lot of things would not have happened. And even when I speak to my friends, they also say that, look, we wouldn't have been able to do the work that we're doing right now, in the sense of our platforms or even launching a platform. So yeah, that's pretty much it on my side.
Yeah, I think you summed it up perfectly there. Like, I feel like there's common elements between all of us, and I really feel like lockdown just sort of enabled for everyone's project to sort of flourish in some way, and I'm super stoked about that.
Same. Yeah, I think being forced to stay in gave us fewer excuses to postpone things or procrastinate on ideas, and actually gain the confidence to say, let me do this, let me start this, or let me finish that project. There's no excuse, like, you have the time.
Right.
Yeah.
I feel like it took me a second to get there. Like at first it was kind of like, oh, finally, like I get a break. And like for the first couple weeks, I really did like sit there like, well, when is this going to be over? And it like didn't seem like it was going to end anytime soon. And I feel like when that started to kick in for me, my energy kind of just started like, instead of being put out into that, well, I'm just going to rest, I'm just going to take my time, it kind of put itself like inward and just started like almost like storing itself to the point where like I was like, oh my God, I got to get out, I got to do something with this energy. And I feel like that's when I started to be like, okay, well, what can I do with this energy creatively to push what I want forward?
You know, what you guys are saying is really, I feel like we're on the same kind of page. Like it's really has come with a lot of blessings and a lot of flourishing and everything. And yeah, the one thing that I wanted to find out from you guys, this is from a guy's perspective, and I really just, this is something that I was sort of, or have observed throughout the years. And I'm not sure if it applies sort of to women internationally, or if it's just a South African thing. You guys can just clear that up for me. So as a guy, from the things that I've seen in the workplace, now this is not like sludge related, this is like at work. I've always noticed that women in the workplace are on some slandering tip. They're on some, you know, sort of, oh, that lady over there is doing so and so with who, and all this like spreading rumors and sort of backstabbing each other. There's like no harmony from what I've witnessed, or there's very little harmony amongst women in the workplace. You know, just an observation from my side. Would you guys say this is something that is sort of a misconception, or would you guys say it actually does like exist? Like women actually don't really get along.
I got a lot of stories about that one. Not from me personally, because I've always been, my mom, she taught me that you really just go to work and you do your job, and it's okay to be nice and, you know, to talk to your coworkers, but you don't have to be in every conversation. You don't have to be a part of every gossip circle and all that. And that's how she got her job. When she was working, she got her job because she was quiet and she wasn't in everybody's business like the rest of the people. So the president of the company hired her for that reason alone. So I took that and was like, okay, that's how I'm gonna be when I go to work. So I did that, but for some reason, people around me, like the girls around me, didn't like that I was quiet. They didn't like that I wasn't in on the jokes and in on the rumors and stuff like that. So I had to deal with that part. Like, I was never the girl who was like, oh, you see that girl over there? Like, this is what she's doing. I was always like just standing there doing my job, and I'll walk away if I heard like that kind of conversation. But for some reason, you're kind of right, you know, in certain environments, because everywhere I've worked, I've witnessed that, but I just never was that girl. And I've even gotten fired because I wasn't that girl.
Yeah.
And when you guys remember when I was telling you that I was a security guard?
Yeah.
I got fired from being a security guard because there was, of that reason, there was a girl that was working there, and a guy liked me at a certain point that was also working there, and she didn't like that. So what she did was she erased all of my work when I wasn't looking. She would like throw my emails away and everything. So the job thought that I just wasn't doing my job, because she was supposed to relieve me when I would go to the bathroom or something. And when I was in the bathroom or going to go patrol somewhere, she would be at the desk where I was the supervisor at, and she would be erasing my work that I put in and, you know, emails I've written and throwing away paperwork I've printed out and stuff. And so I got fired. And after I got fired, she told everybody, yeah, I was the one that got her fired and everything. Like, she was like boasting about it. And I'm just like, we were friends. Like, we actually hung out. I met your husband, and you did that over a guy liking me because he
right
more.
And she's married.
You. And she's exactly. But I never said it. I'm not a gossiper. I don't judge people, so I never say anything about her being married. I was just like, okay. People come tell me like, yeah, you seen her over there? Like, she's standing at the desk talking to him for hours instead of doing her job, and you know they come in at the same time, and I'm just like, okay, that's great. I'm not gonna say anything. And people are like, but isn't she married? And I'm just like, listen, I'm not gonna. How many times I gotta tell you? I'm not gonna say anything.
Right.
I'm gonna just let her be. So I've had to deal with that all my life. I even like after that job, I went to work at Dollar Tree Corporation and in the mailroom, and I got talked about so much because I didn't talk. Like I left like one time I left my phone in there just to make sure that I wasn't crazy, because I thought when I walk out the room, I could sworn that they was talking about me. And I was like, okay, I'm not crazy. I promise y'all I'm not crazy. So I left my phone there one time I walked out. I came back in. I listened to it. They had a whole conversation about me and my life. Don't even know how they found out. It's from my boss because she was telling my business everywhere. But they literally had a whole conversation about me and my whole life as soon as I walked out the room.
Wow.
I'm just like, wow, okay. And the only person that knew most of that stuff was my boss. So she was also gossiping to them when I wasn't around about my business and stuff like that. And then, I even found like two guys having a conversation about me and how I was, and oh, she like you, that's why she get irritated. But I'm just like, why does it matter? Like, we're literally male associates. Like, why does it matter if I like you? I'm not coming to work or getting paid to gossip about you or be
or to like you.
Yeah, like, and it's happened to me so many times. It even happened to me when I was in school. Like, I was quiet in school just because I like education. So
right, I feel that
when I'm in class, I want to sit there and learn. I don't want to hear you talking about your boyfriend next to me. I really don't care. I'm trying to get my education so I can graduate. And people get pissed about that. Like, they'll be disrupting the class and everything, and I'm just back there being quiet, doing my job, doing my work. And of course, somebody come back there like, "Why are you so quiet for? Why are you so weird? You so weird because you're quiet." I'm just like, listen, the teacher is trying to talk. Why are you in my face? Like,
right, trying to talk to me when I'm trying to listen and get education.
Yeah, why are you aren't we here to learn? But it's like, for some reason, society finds it weird if you're not a gossiper or if you're not joining in with everybody else for whatever the reason. And that's not the point of working. So like, you're right, and then it's a misconception because every female is not like that, but there's a lot of them that do go to work and they go to work just to gossip. And there's also men like that, because I've also seen men go to work and all they do is talk about a girl and how she looks and what they want to do to her. And I've overheard these conversations. I wish I didn't sometimes. I'm just sitting there like, really? Like, I even heard my boss one time when I was a security officer. My boss asked another guy who was working there in another department about one of the officers that was working there. And he was like, well, what do you think of her? Like, how do you feel about her body and stuff? I'm just like, sir, aren't you her boss?
Right.
Why does that matter? Like, what? And of course, it was the girl that got me fired that he was asking about, but it's okay. So, and like, in those situations, it's easier to join in my opinion. Of course, it's easier to just go with the flow, but it's not right. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it's always harder to not take the easy route and just join in and be a part of the group. And it's always harder to be like the only person, because I've always been the only person that just wasn't going to join in. So yeah, that's my opinion on that. It's both ways. It can be that, girls do go to work to gossip, at the same time, men also go to work to do the same thing. And I've just never been that person in the workplace. So,
yeah,
because I know how it can affect somebody, word travels from workplaces. So you tell one person freaking whole, and I had that happen too. I'm sorry, I have so many stories. Go ahead. I've had that happen too. When that situation happened, she said one thing after I got fired, and everybody in the whole, because I had to be transferred at that point, the whole entire company spreads from North Carolina to West Virginia, I think. And everybody in the company that would come down there always had the same questions for me. So like, this girl said this about you. I'm like, how did you hear that all the way up in West Virginia, sir?
Right. How do you know? States away.
How did you get up there? I ain't never been up there. How'd you get there? And he just like, oh, I heard it from this officer and this person. So like, I don't know. I don't know why people find it so fun to do that, and it's crazy, but it's always both sides. It's not just women. It's men too.
I definitely agree with that. I see that a lot in like my experiences and like what I've gone through is like men and women. It really does depend on the man and the woman. But men and women where I'm like based out in California, I mean, when you go into work, it's like I feel like it's just going into work and like, yeah, there are those types of people who go out of their way to kind of gossip or like form their little cliques. Like whenever I've joined a job, at least, there's always two things that happen, and it's you get one side. So the first thing is you will get one side of the story by the manager, and the manager is going to tell you what their perspective of the business is. They're going to tell you how your job is. They're going to tell you at the end of all of that what it is that the workplace is like from their perspective and their lenses. And after that, you kind of like go and you meet your coworkers. Well, as soon as the boss walks away, they're going to tell you what their perspective on the job is like, what you really have to do without the boss knowing, what you really have to say to make sure that it's looking a certain way. They're basically telling you about the mask of the job. And then you kind of get their perspective on like, okay, well, here's how we perceive the job to be and how we have our own little, hierarchy of what is going on. And I feel like those are kind of like just the two biggest things that I get with people coming in. So like in a way it is kind of gossip, and it is kind of like it's just everyone trying to kind of push their own agendas, I feel like. And I feel like that's one of the big things that I get when I go into my jobs or when I go and focus on what I'm doing at work, especially as someone who's just not involved or the type of person to be like forming those kinds of like, I really am the type of person to just go in and kind of like Ella said, like just get my work done and like do what I need to. But I'm also social. I just don't feel the need to be a part of every conversation, like she was saying. So I completely agree with what she's saying. Like it is two sides of a coin kind of thing. Like there are men and women who both kind of have those aspects in the workplace, and it is kind of like almost an underhanded thing, because I feel like everyone is going to preach teamwork but be for themselves and put themselves first. So it doesn't matter if it's like you or someone else, like they'll talk about whoever or whatever just to get the day done. That's where my environment is like, at least like it doesn't matter who you are, it's just words to get the day done or things to talk about to pass the shift.
Yeah. I feel like you guys are sort of on a similar sort of trail. I don't know, Meagan, Zama, what are your sort of perspectives on?
I will say that we are coached from a very young age to compete against our gender. If you think about school, the relationship points that we have with our body are competitive against our own gender. When it comes to sports, we compete against other people that are of our same gender, and we have separate bathrooms and separate dress codes. So it's really about dividing. And I think that when there is gossiping and chipping away at reputation of another person, that is out of insecurity. And that means that that person sees himself as threatened. So I think maybe it's about the workspace environment as a whole, because if there were 5 women instead of just 1 woman and another woman came in, it wouldn't be a problem. If it was just a team of guys and then 1 woman, another woman coming in would be perceived as a threat in a way, because you're taking the woman spot. Now there's no woman spot, it's just people spots. So if there are more genders and a good like ratio, then it becomes a safer space. And it's harder to single that out as an element. So it's harder to use it as a defense mechanism, and it's harder to attack another person for.
Yeah, just to also echo what Jay had said, I like the point that she had raised on basically you preach teamwork, but it's basically every person for themselves. And that's one thing that has been basically emphasized for women, because men, unfortunately, the society that we live in, it really is a man's world. And in as much as women try to like obviously prosper the way that they can, they're always going to be dragged down just based on their gender. Unfortunately, that's the situation. But like you had said, basically that if you could just ratio it out, basically have same sets of genders, I think maybe that would be the best way forward. And also understanding one another because it's not fair that maybe if you have 4 women and 1 guy, because there's going to be so much conflict that's going to be going on, and vice versa as well. So that's pretty much it, that we need to just try and find a way that we can just ratio things out so that we can have this a common understanding at the end of it all.
I really appreciate what you were saying there, Zama, in terms of coming up with an actual solution to this. I feel like it's important, for as much as we're addressing what the issues are, but the solution is also quite important as well. So yeah, props to you for bringing that up. With that being said, do you guys, with the state of, the creative industry right now, do you guys feel that women could be supporting each other more? Or do you guys feel that, women already are actually supporting one another when it comes now to the creative fields, the different creative fields that you're all in?
I think that women should be supporting each other more just in like everyday life. Like, how do I word this? It's like when, like, for example, when a man cheats, women for some reason decide to go after each other instead of the man who's like cheating, and like they want to tear each other down for like what each other has instead of like building each other up and like being like, hey, why would we both go for something that's like not good? We should just propel each other towards something better for each other. But that's just like from, I guess, that aspect. I think industry wise, I feel like women have helped other women as much as they can, but I feel like at the end of the day in the industry, I don't think that women are really gearing it towards helping women. I think that the industry is more like musicians geared towards helping musicians, as opposed to like women helping women or men helping, men. It's really just like whoever is the best, or whoever, is willing to do the most or put the most passion towards what it is that they want.
That is beautiful. Zama, your perspective on this?
I've Jay just literally just took everything out of my mouth, but I feel like we've always supported each other. It's just that there's always been sort of like an agenda for us to be separate from one another so that we can not realize what our power or what our worth is, So something small as this, just an example. We're coming from different aspects of the creative industry, and we're coming together now, and we're coming together as a force. For other people, it would be weird because they'd be like, why is a person like Zama collaborating with someone from overseas? Zama has such a small following and she doesn't understand the industry, whereas you guys don't see it in that aspect. So it's very nice to see that we all we're very open-minded, and we just like, no, at the end of the day, we know what the vision is, and we can adjust the focus, but we know what the vision is at the end of the day. And it's small examples like this where we are empowering each other, not only now, but going forward, where we're going to start to see sort of like, I hope that we're going to see a bit of a shift in the culture as well, because what we're seeing in the culture that, yes, women are supporting each other, but we don't see how much of it, unfortunately. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Bad Milk, do you feel that women are supporting each other enough right now in the various creative fields, or is it something that needs, a bit more work at the moment?
It needs so much work. Actually, I was on a rant with the girl I know that's a musician from Joburg recently, and we're just talking about how when we look at South Africa in general, like, I was looking at the list yesterday of the top 15 albums on Apple, and it's so crazy how it's the same 4 guys with albums and EPs and tapes from years back, not even a single female inside, and I feel like whenever females collaborate, there's not as much noise around it compared to as when men do. Like, I don't want to make it like a man and female thing, but like, it's what it is. And it's like how we're living, so I feel like we need to make so much more noise. Like, we're far from, it's not even about being equals, but we're far from like being where we should have been from the beginning.
And where is that exactly? You said.
Like, okay, I'm just gonna relate it to myself. All my life, I've just been always been told what to do, what's expected, what's right and what's wrong. And I feel like what society has to contribute towards females in the creative field is so much criticism. Like, and as much as they say art is all about expression and being yourself and so forth, they somehow find a way to alter the way you express yourself.
Mm.
Yeah, so I just really feel like we just need to make much more noise.
Can I ask something though, with regards to that statement that you just made, that like with women, well, with women, that we need to sort of like be a bit more lenient or something like that. I know we've said before that like it shouldn't be, sort of like a gender type of thing, but like is it okay to say that in order for a person to get the same noise as a guy, women have to like push hard and everything like that? Like we have to, I don't know how to phrase this properly, but I'm just basically saying that in order for us to get to where we need to be, would you say it's fair that we have to push just as hard as males? That's what I'm basically saying. I don't know if anyone understands what I'm trying to say.
I agree with that.
It's not fair.
I feel like in this industry, I think to get the amount of attraction, the amount of noise that a male does, you have to be sexualized. Like you have to be, putting something out there that's, enticing or, in some way serves the,
The eye.
Yes.
It's all about the eye.
Yes. It's all about the beauty.
Honestly, people listen with their eyes, and that's where it all went wrong. Honestly, like one of my biggest challenges as an artist is drawing the line and putting a boundary as to how far I can go in terms of being sexualized. There's even certain things that I just cannot say in my songs, like at all, because I don't know, maybe I'm just conservative like that, or I just feel that there's no need to. And apparently that makes me irrelevant. It's quite frustrating because now I'm going, if I want to be like recognized mainstream, I need to go against like my morals and so forth. I think it's very unfair that we need to work so much harder, in order to be recognized compared to the women do. And it's so crazy how for them it's with such ease. We need to put in times 1,000,000 of the work.
Do you echo those statements though? Because I know in your field as a musician, as you just mentioned, do you feel that like you have to sort of sexualize yourself or make yourself appealing to the eye in order for you to get your music out there or at least be noticed?
I don't think that's anything that I've ever really had to do. I think that being sexual myself, that's something that I want to incorporate in my music just because I think sexuality is something that should be embraced. But at the same time, I also don't want to be like mainstream people who are, over sexualizing themselves and like, as much as I do find that to be an art form, and I probably will dabble in that just as an art form, not as like a form of like marketing or enticement, I think that it's not something that I'm ever going to go out of my way to do. I'm not going to go out of my way to sexualize my music or sexualize my my identity to make it so that more people want to look at me. I feel like I'm a very independent, unique, and individual person, and I don't really have there's no place for that for me in my mind. And I feel like my biggest thing is like trying to create a place for people who are like me instead of, that over-sexualized agenda in the industry.
Is this something that you guys would say also then applies to, they're like a curator like yourself, Zama, and someone who runs a music publication like yourself, Ella, and, with Meagan as well, you also being an artist as well on your side, would you guys say something similar sort of applies where you find that maybe in order to excel, you guys have to maybe portray yourself in a certain way and present yourself, in a certain manner so that you guys, progress and move forward?
No, I don't think so. And it's sad that a lot of people make artists feel that they have to. Me being a journalist, for so many years, I've talked to a lot of artists, I've talked to a lot of labels, I've had to deal with a lot of PR people, and a lot of them think this way, and it's because a lot of media make artists feel like they have to, and that's the only way they'll be able to get on their covers or they'll be able to get an interview, and it's not true. I mean, there are so many artists that have done it without taking an inch of clothes off. Or, I mean, I don't know if you ever heard of an artist named Her. She used to go by Gabby Wilson. She started, when she reinvented herself, she didn't show anybody what she looked like. All you did was listen to her music. And she did that.
And Sia.
Yeah, and Sia. They did that.
Billie Eilish wears baggy clothes. I love what you're saying.
They did that just to see if it would work. She said she wanted people to just focus on her music. She didn't want people to look at her body or look at her face. Same thing with Billie, she said the same thing. She didn't want people to be judging her about her body if she decided to wear like a tight pants or tight shirt. You don't have to sexualize yourself to get in the media. And people like me we are creating platforms for artists to not feel that way. That's why I created my magazine, was to just go off of the fact that you make dope content. Like I said in the podcast episode we did, I don't care how many followers you have. I don't care. And I've had a lot of people come in my DMs. I had somebody do that yesterday. Oh, can I get a feature in your magazine? Like, I have so much press, and I don't care. I really don't. I only care if your content is dope. That is all that should matter. It doesn't matter how you look. It doesn't matter what you believe in. If your content is dope, you deserve to be interviewed. You deserve to be on every stage. You deserve to be given money for your video shoots, the best contracts. If your content is dope, that's it. And that's why more people should create platforms for artists based off of solely their content. And the only way that the mainstream media is going to be fixed is if more people come out and accept people for just that. But there's so many outlets that, like, my magazine, sure, like I'm one person, but like there's so many outlets that have control over stuff that artists feel like they need to move forward in their career, that I can't, like, little outlets like me sometimes feel like we can't really push these artists where they need to be at. Like, for example, if you're a record label and you're maybe like Sony or Republic, they probably have a contract with somebody like Live Nation, which is one of the biggest tour partnerships you could have, in the world, to do your tours. If you are an independent artist, you would have to probably get with a record label to get Live Nation. But that shouldn't be that way. You should just get with Live Nation, and they should sponsor your tour because you're dope. It shouldn't be because you're specifically with a record label. Like, that's the part where the mainstream media makes artists think they have to do certain things to get ahead in life, because they've kind of monopolized certain parts of the industry. So you have to get with this person or this company to get over there. But that's the point of creating platforms to change that. So, like, for example, people who've never been on magazine covers, they have dope music, they don't have as many followers and everything. I created a magazine that is nationwide. It's seen all over the world. And I've had countless of celebrities and stuff on the front cover. That's great. But, like, people who are independent, who don't have that many followers, they get to be in these issues with their favorite artists. So they're sitting alongside certain people that they have looked up to, and all they had to do was have dope content. That's getting them somewhere. I've had a ton of people tell me, like, yeah, being on your magazine really helped push my numbers and everything. That's why I created. So what I do is I create more. Like, I create more platforms that help artists, not only artists, other people as well, to progress. Because you can sit and say, well, the mainstream media doesn't let me in. Okay, so how are we going to get in there? We got to figure out a way. And the only way you're going to get in there is by creating a way in, or creating your own portal. I mean, honestly, if you want to get on Billboard, that's great, but there's a ton of other magazines that will also accept you. So if you don't get on Billboard, so what? Billboard isn't the best media outlet in the world. There's other magazines that will get you your numbers. There's other platforms that will get you your numbers, that accept you just the way you are. So the mainstream media makes it seem like it's so amazing to get on these platforms, but it's really not, because these people have sold their soul to get on these platforms. So what is it really worth if you had to sell your soul to get on Billboard, or you had to sell your soul to go on tour? It's not worth anything. You know what I mean? So I create answers, basically. That's what I've always done since I was 15. That's why I created the magazine. That's why I designed websites. and the other stuff that I do, I saw how the media was tearing down the celebrities for just being themselves, for saying no to a lot of things. And so I decided to create my own platform. And every time I hear an artist like tell me that they feel like they can't progress because they won't change themselves, that's not even just music, that's everyday life. Like in every job you take, some people feel like they can't move up because they won't change who they are. And that's really sad, you know? So that's my goal as just a creator, is to just keep creating avenues for artists to stop feeling like they have to be a certain way to get somewhere, because it's your art. So how can somebody tell you how you're supposed to be and how your art is supposed to be? It's the same thing with my publication. I don't publish reviews of music that I don't like, because I don't get the point of telling somebody that you think their music is trash. Just don't listen to it. So I don't publish anything if I don't like it. If I like it, I'll publish it. I'll rant about it. I'll tell everybody about it. But if I don't like it, what's the point of me telling you I hate your music? It doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It doesn't. I'm just tearing you down by telling you that your music is terrible. So what's the point of that? If I don't like it, I could just not listen to it. If I don't like it, I could just not watch it. It's the same thing with any creative outlet. If I don't like it, why am I telling you in a whole, 1,000-word paragraph or essay about how terrible your music is? It's pointless. So like being a part of mainstream media is not as exciting as it seems. And that's why so many artists have decided to go independent, because it's not fun. There's so many rules. There's so many, like, you have to be a certain way. You have to react a certain way. There's so many, like, ways they kind of control you in mainstream media. It's not worth it to actually become mainstream. You know, you might have money, but yeah, what is that? It's just cash. Like, where's your happiness in mainstream? A lot of artists who are in mainstream media aren't even happy. So it's like little people like me or like you guys with the podcast, you're creating avenues for artists who just want to be themselves. They don't want to sell themselves to be in mainstream. They just want to be, and you're allowing them to come on your platform and just be themselves. And that's very hard because it's not many platforms out there that allow artists to do that.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
100%. Like, and I feel like this is also just another thing that sort of connects, you know, all of you in here, is that, you know, we like with Zama and Iteo Connect, you know, and her platform, it's, you know, even when we had the conversation when she was on the show, we did bring this up in terms of people are always focused on numbers, people are always focused on clout. I've seen Bad Milk post, you know, many times about how sort of unfair, you know, the Durban music scene is, and it's also in support of cloud and everything like that. These are conversations Meagan and I have on a daily basis as well. You know, so you know, we see what you're doing, Ella, to do this. I'd like to just, you know, just gauge from you know the rest of you as well in terms of what role and what part you guys are playing to sort of debunk that, and also just from Bad Milk's perspective as well, you know, being an artist and experiencing that, you know, what is it that Bad Milk has found maybe has helped to sort of break through and sort of persevere, you know, through that kind of stuff. This is my last question on my end.
Honestly, I just stick to like creating craft and just doing things that make me happy. You know, I was actually on the call with my cousin earlier on. My cousin is an influencer and a YouTuber, you know. So like it's a all eyes on me kind of situation on her hand. And she had posted a picture, right? Because she has like a shitload of followers. And the comments weren't as positive as they usually are. And I saw this days ago, but I didn't want to bring it up. So she eventually saw them and she was not okay, but she was able to move on, because at the end of the day, you may have all the numbers in the world and so forth, but you don't even know those people and if they wish you well. So what's the point in making them matter in your life so much? because chances are they don't even care about you. They're only trying to see what you're up to, who you're with, and so forth. You know what I'm saying? So I just feel like it helped me to realize like how dope I am. Firstly, like I'm super dope, and if I can continue on with that mindset, I'm gonna actually get doper as time goes on. I mean, that's what it's all about, like standing out and doing your own thing. And I feel like the minute you conform, you're just like stripping yourself away from discovering your ultimate dopeness, if that makes sense.
For me, basically, like the main reason why I even created Iteo Connect was to, give credit to where it's due, because there's too much smoke going on in the industry, especially in the creative industry. There's too much smoke going on, and we are so fed with lies most of the time that we don't even realize what the truth is. It seems like an illusion, So for me, I was like, we know of this creative that has done such amazing work, but we just don't know who the hell it is, So I thought that, let me just create a platform where we give credit to where it's due, speak to people that have done amazing things, and that essentially was just the main aim of Iteo Connect, just to give credit to where it's due, because we're too consumed with, we see the work, but we just don't know who it is. So I definitely echo what Ella had said, that, you may have little followers, but if you are doing great work, listen, I'm here for it. Like, why can't we just collaborate with one another? And I feel that, like I said before, that this type of conversation that we're having is so empowering, because we always like, we vent, but we just don't know who to vent to, because people may not understand our frustration. And it's always nice to have a group of people that will understand your frustration, but other than that, they'll give you a possible solution as to what is it that you need to do going forward. So for me, I just feel like, I just want to also say that, guys, this has been a very, very great conversation, and may we have many more going forward. But other than that, we should also create other platforms that will enable people to get to where they need to be. Like the platforms that we currently have are amazing, and the fact that we've even got those type of platforms to empower people is quite great as well, because people, like Ella had said, that people focus too much on the mainstream medias, but they don't realize that having your podcast, having your blogs and vlogs and things of that nature are essentially the things that are actually going to override the mainstream media and are going to become the main focus at the end of the day. And that's the point that a lot of people are missing, unfortunately, because you find that sometimes even the mainstream media will come to you as a person who has that like platform, because you're able to plug into places that they may not be able to get into. So that on its own is a very powerful element at the end of the day. So I just want to just say that, guys, we just need to carry on with conversations like these and just collaborate with one another, because we never know as to what is it that we can do together going forward.
Well said, Dèson. That was brilliant. Thank you guys for this. This was really awesome.
How did it feel being the only guy in this like roundtable?
It was really cool. Like if we had more time, I feel like it could have literally gone down this rabbit hole, and I could have also said a lot more on my side. Like I have some stories to tell as well. But I was just really just glad that I was able to listen, to you guys, just speak about what you guys do, how you overcome your challenges and all that. So I'm super stoked. Like I'm happy. I'm stoked.
That's great.
It wasn't like before I came into this, I was nervous, because all of you are just doing so well. It was just like, what? Like you guys actually agreed to do this, But you guys everything was just so comfortable, and you guys just made it a whole lot easier. So yeah, I can never thank you guys enough.
Oh,
you're welcome. I'm a talkative person, as you know, so
yeah, 100%. How did you guys feel though? I'm interested. Like, was this cool for you guys? Like, how was the experience?
I tried to not be a journalist because I had like tons of questions, but
it was chill vibes.
It was very chill. And it was nice learning about other creatives, because a lot of the times creatives are kind of by themselves. Like I don't know if there's like groups for creatives to like all collaborate together. So most of the time creatives are just creating by themselves. So it was nice to kind of be in like a little creator support group almost.
Yeah. Do you guys feel the same? Bad Milk, Lemon.
I do. I feel like Ella should save those questions. They might come in handy sometime.
Definitely.
It was good hearing different perspectives, to be honest. It was good hearing different perspectives, but it's also good hearing that we literally all in the same type of struggle as well. I don't know if that makes sense, because like sometimes you feel that because maybe you're from the States, you don't understand what's going on in SA and vice versa. But we sort of like going through like I was saying in the group, that we sort of go through the same type of struggles. So it's always good to hear as to what is it that you did to overcome them, or how is it that we should overcome it.
I agree.
Yeah, definitely. Meeks?
Yeah, it's nice to know I'm not alone.
Aww.
It really is.
Virtual hug.
you know,
Come here.
aw.
Come here, Meagan.
Bluetooth.
It's so easy to overstress, guys. There's so much, and we're all pretty much multi-creatives, so we're juggling a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot that comes with that. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Like, how do people have this much energy
Good.
to just keep going?
At this time as well. for SA at this time as well.
Like it's even raining. I'm just dozing off.
Yeah, Durban there's a lot of rain going on here. So thank you guys for this.
Thank you.
Awesome experience.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Guys, just looking at the time now, I think this would probably be the best time for us to close out and for everyone to sort of plug their social media. But before we get to that, are there any closing remarks? Anything anyone would like to say before we then close out the show?
If anybody wants to collab, I have a ton of divisions in my company, and I'm down to create more divisions.
Sweet. I'm really hoping people do reach out, and yeah, I feel like it would be beneficial for everyone, you know, to sort of work with each other, and collaboration is really dope. So yeah, that's cool. Yeah, guys, go for it. Anyone else has anything to say, please, this is the time.
On my side, never look down on yourself, never devalue yourself because of what other people may think is relevant. You are amazing in what you do, and just stay in your lane.
Beautiful. Bad Milk.
I don't really have much to say. I just like have a shout out type of thing.
Cool.
So in 3, 2, 1, can everybody say gratitude for me? I feel like every girl and female woman, lady, woman, mom just needs to wake up every day and have their gratitude on all the time. That's the only way you can win in this world.
I'm down with that. In 3, 2, 1.
Gratitude!
Yes.
All right, yeah, that was really cool. Like, it's a really inspirational message as well. So thank you for that, Bad Milk. And then Meagan, on your side.
I think that is the best note to end things on. So yeah, thank you so much, everyone.
Sweet.
Thank you guys for the opportunity.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Sweet. Now, it would be an injustice to close out without sort of giving your details again, where people can touch with you guys, where people can sort of, you know, follow your platforms and whatever it is that you guys are doing. This is your opportunity to plug. So, yeah, go for it, guys.
For me, it's just basically Itego Connect. You can find it on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
You can visit my website at rainlanecreatives.com.
You can get me on Instagram at badmilk.drinkit, Ndombi99 on Twitter.
Find me on Instagram at lemondove or at Meagan King.
Okay, guys. Yeah, we obviously catch this episode is going to be on SoundCloud. We are Sludge Underground Podcast, and on Apple Podcasts, Sludge Underground Podcast. Please do subscribe. And obviously on Spotify as well, Sludge Underground Podcast. On social media, Facebook at Sludge Underground, on Instagram at Sludge Underground, and on Twitter at Sludge031. Guys, just thank you so much for all being here. This was a really awesome experience for me as well. I learned a lot more about you guys. and what you guys are doing, and just women in general. You know, I learned quite a bit, and I'm really hoping that we can do this again. I hope this is not the end. If someone wants to do something, let us know. Let's just do it and just flourish and all grow. So thank you guys once again. I think it would only be fitting. I mean, right now we've got Bad Milk in the house, so perhaps it would be fitting to close out with one of her tracks. So Bad Milk, what track of yours can we sort of close out with for this episode?
You guys can close with Bragging Rights.
All right, that is cool. So we're going to be closing out with Bragging Rights by Bad Milk. Guys, until next time, it's been a really awesome episode. Thank you guys once again for coming through to the show. And until next time, it's bye for now.
Respect is earned, and so are bragging rights. Bragging rights, check your lives, getting back every night. Check the Constitution now, it says I got the bragging rights. Bragging rights, check your life, getting back every night. Check the Constitution now, it says I got them bragging rights.
By the way, I'll be on the way while you catching feelings every day. My bees be on the page, making it rain like we ain't getting sent. Yes, I heard you, man, urging for that love again. I make a plan to assure that you don't ever get a chance to break me, man. Yes, you claim me the G, but when I switch up, you always be texting, man. No, I have no idea that you will be here and fully focused, man. Yes, you look like you lost, go cover your loss for sure. I won't complain, huh, nigga. Get out my
bragging rights, check your life, getting back every night. Check the Constitution now, it says I got the bragging rights. Bragging rights, check your life, getting back every night. Check the Constitution now, it says I got them bragging rights.
Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Dancing on these mommies, everybody getting word, cause they think that I got it all now. Well, it started with a party, now the shawty getting money, but I'm hungry, about to gobble, yeah. Set it off, ready now, let it off. Winning now, breathe, stretch, shake, let it off. Really proud, buried up. Bad milk, I'm a bad bitch. Right. Careful when I trip the next switch. My L is better than your verses. Recorded, I never rehearsed this. Yeah. Niggas gon' know how to rehearse this when I murk shit and the earth split. About to reverse all the curses. I need all this cash in my purse, bitch.
Bragging rights, check your life, getting back every night. Check the Constitution now, it says I got the bragging rights. Bragging rights, check your life, getting back every night. Check the Constitution now, it says I got them bragging rights. Bragging rights, check your life, getting back every night. Check the Constitution now, it says I got the bragging rights. Bragging rights, check your life, getting back every night. Check the Constitution now, it says I got them bragging rights. Bragging rights, check your life, getting back every night. Check the Constitution now, it says I got the bragging rights. Bragging rights, check your life, getting back every night. Check the Constitution now, it says I got them bragging rights.